Hey guys, today is Tuesday, April 21st, and I just wanted you guys to be aware of today's assignment and have me explain it just to clear up any issues. So today you guys will be working on a racial profiling multiplication worksheet. I know this isn't math class, and you guys who know me well know that math isn't my thing, but I thought this was kind of just a fun and cool way of looking at some statistics regarding racial profiling that occurs within our country. Um, so before we actually answer the questions, I want to just point out on top right under the title, we have a list of some vocabulary words. And here says review the following vocabulary words before responding to the following questions. So I wanted you guys to just read through these now and just familiarize yourself with them. So the first one is a traffic stop, and that is when a police officer pulls you over to investigate a possible crime or violation of the law. And we all know what that is. We're familiar. That's basically just when a police officer pulls you over, and that could happen for a multitude of reasons. We won't get into them. The next one is stop and frisk, and this is defined as practice of temporary holding and or questioning of a person and at times searching people on the street. So basically that looks like if a police officer kind of just comes up to you and starts asking you questions about maybe something they're accusing you of, or they could actually even go as far as searching you, not you specifically, but this happens unfortunately all around the country. And that is considered stop and frisk. Next, we have non consent searches, and that's searching someone's car or property without being asked. And we all are familiar with that term, non consent. But in this context, it's still pretty applicable. It's just kind of going through someone's property without having permission to do so. Next, we have excessive use of force, and that's using force that is greater than what should be reasonably used on someone. And again, that looks very different depending on the circumstance. And finally, we have minorities, and I'm pretty sure we're all pretty much aware of what this term means, but it is defined as a group of people that is different from the larger group in a country or a certain specific area. And that could be either racially or based on religion. We see it a lot referencing race. So we're going to get into these questions now. It's fairly straightforward. The math questions are located at the end, which you'll be responding. Honestly, it's math even I can do. So I'm pretty confident that you guys got this. Because again, we all know I'm not a math guy. But let's read these together. So the first one is a quote, and it's African American drivers are blank as likely to be arrested during a traffic stop. And then followed by in parentheses, what is 2 times 1? So you're going to solve that math equation, and that is the answer. So once you do that, you can write your answer in and then plug it into the quote and read it back. Next, we have stop and frisk in New York City was deemed illegal. Blank percent of those stop and frisk searches resulted in no further action. And what is 11 times 8? Next, we have, although African Americans accounted for less than 15% of all stops in 2015, they accounted for over blank percent of non-consent searches following stops. And that is a statistic obtained from Vanity Fair. And that math equation is what is 6 times 7? And no, not finally, we have 2 more, second to last. A Department of Justice investigation into the Seattle Police Department found that more than blank percent of cases, quote, determined to be unnecessary or excessive use of force involved minorities. And again, that is another quote pulled from Vanity Fair, and that response is what is 10 times 5? And finally, we have in Savannah, Georgia, observers noticed that, quote, suspicious behavior, a traffic offense, looking nervous, or similar behavior accounted for blank percent of a police officer's decision to pull someone over. And that was obtained from the National Institute of Justice. And that response is what is 6 times 11? So you guys are just going to answer all of those math problems, which are located at the end of each quote. You're going to find the solution, and then you're going to plug it into the blank space in each quote. Okay, again, as always, if you have any questions, send me a quick email or Miss Brianna, and either of us will be happy to help you guys out. All right, guys, have a good rest of your Tuesday.